Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're looking at a really compelling idea from Hazrat Khwaja Shamsuddin Azeemi. He talks about God calling God the best of all creators, basically entrusting humanity with, well, creative potential.
Delegated potential. Yeah, like we've been given the right to create, to fashion things according to our own will.
Exactly. And we want to sort of unpack that today. It sounds straightforward, maybe, but the implications, they seem to go way beyond just, building everyday things.
Oh, absolutely. The text suggests this could change how we understand, well, everything, from our daily needs right up to the cosmos itself.
It's a huge scope.
It really is. And what strikes me immediately is how this idea of delegated potential reframes human innovation.
How so?
Well, instead of just seeing creativity as like our thing, our own invention, this view suggests it's more of a reflection.
And a reflection
Of that original fundamental creative source, like an echo. And the text jumps right into some very concrete examples to show this.
Yeah, it does. It sets up this powerful duality straight away. So on one hand, you've got inventions like, say, the radio, or even peaceful uses of atomic energy.
Yeah.
Things that connect us, benefit us.
Right. Think about radio for a second. These invisible waves,
Yeah.
carrying voices, music, information over huge distances. It works because of specific frequencies, right? Specific wavelengths.
It's actually pretty amazing when you stop and think about it.
And the way it works, the components, the frequencies interacting, it hints at something deeper, doesn't it?
Like underlying structure.
Exactly. Like
Yep.
there are these inherent rules, these, the text calls them formulae,
Yeah.
that dictate how things work, how they even come to exist. We'll definitely get more into that.
Okay, but then there's the flip side.
The dark side.
Yeah, the text immediately brings up the atom bomb, the hydrogen bomb. Creations demonstrating just immense destructive power.
Unimaginable devastation.
It really hammers home the responsibility that comes with this creative potential we've apparently been given.
It's right there in the text, isn't it? That we can use these creations for good or for terrible harm.
A real double-edged sword.
No kidding. And the same basic understanding of, say, atomic energy that can power a city.
Can also flatten it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what guides us? How do we choose which path to take with this power? Is it just us, or are there other principles involved?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that leads us into this next part of the text, which
Right.
is, well, it's fascinating. It talks about various quantities.
Quantities, yeah, it sounds a bit abstract at first.
A little bit, but the examples make it click, like our health.
Right. When we've got plenty of energy, vitality, those quantities are high. We feel good, we function well.
And when those quantities
So I
drop,
feel run down, sick. It's like there's a measurable level of wellness.
and it applies to the mind too,
Yeah.
apparently. Intelligence.
Yeah, the text describes it as operative waves of intellect. An intelligent person just has these waves in like greater quantity, more intensity maybe.
Compared to someone less intellectually inclined, I suppose.
So a normal life, as the text puts it, means having adequate quantities of whatever you need to function properly.
It connects to basic needs too, right? Thirst, hunger.
Absolutely. Thirst is just a signal. Your body's saying, hey, the water quantity is low.
Need a top up.
Exactly. Same with hunger for food quantity. And keeping things balanced, taking in the right quantities, that's key for health.
But when it gets out of whack,
Yep.
too much, too little.
That's when problems start. Discomfort, illness, even, harmful behaviors if the balance is way off, like excessive drinking or really unstable eating patterns.
Oh, it's quite a different way to think about basic biology, all framed in terms of these quantities.
It is, and the core idea seems to be that life itself, all of it, is tied to the presence and the balance of these quantities.
So much so that big shifts in these quantities can actually change someone's fundamental state.
That's what it suggests, even to the point where someone might look alive but be, quantitatively speaking, very close to death.
Wow. Okay, it really shows the delicate balance.
A very delicate balance.
So, if life depends on these quantities, where do they and the needs they represent come from? The text says they aren't random.
No, not at all. It says they originate from and are created by specific quantities and, here's that word, formulae.
Formulae. And it makes a really strong claim here.
A very bold claim. No demand of life can exist without a formula.
That implies, like, a fundamental order, a blueprint for everything.
Pretty much a foundational structure for the entire universe, maybe, like a set of rules or instructions governing everything.
And it says God used various formulae to create humans.
Yes. And when we discover something or invent something, maybe we're just activating one of these formula that was already there.
Like finding a recipe.
Kind of like that, yeah. Finding, or maybe just stumbling upon a recipe that already exists.
Okay. This is where my mind started to bend a little bit.
Yeah, it gets pretty expansive here.
It says we are creative formulae.
And that we possess the knowledge, potentially, of other creative formulae.
And not just for, like, radios or whatever. It suggests we could learn the formulae for.
Well, angels. Heaven.
Even understanding the foundations of the seven heavens, the high throne and the arsh.
That's huge. It's almost hard to grasp.
It really pushes the limits of how we usually think about what humans can know or do, right?
Absolutely. If you take it seriously, our potential for understanding, for creation,
Right.
it could be vastly more than we imagine.
Reaching into realms we normally think are completely off limits to us.
But then the text shifts gears a bit. It brings in a note of caution, sadness.
Yeah, the tragic aspect.
It talks about a decline, specifically among Muslims, in the quest for knowledge, curiosity for finding reality, and the habit of thinking. That's a direct quote, and it really hits you.
It does. It points to this potential gap, doesn't it? Between this idea of humans as, vicegerents of God on
The
earth.
stewards with responsibilities.
Right, a gap between that idea and the actual active pursuit of knowledge and understanding. It even compares it unfavorably to ants, saying they diligently follow their purpose, implying, well, that maybe some humans aren't using their thinking abilities as they should.
It's a sharp critique.
And it follows up by saying God's laws, these underlying principles or formula, they operate no matter what. You can't ignore them or wish them away.
No exceptions.
Then it points to the Holy Quran.
As a source of guidance, specifically for those who do use their minds, who exercise their thinking abilities, conduct researches, and observe minutely.
Again, a direct quote emphasizing that active engagement.
And it includes that description of God. One and only, the absolute, the insouciant.
Insouciant, meaning totally self-sufficient, needing nothing.
Exactly. Independent. He begets not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like unto him. It grounds everything back in the ultimate source.
And the final line of that section is pretty powerful too.
One who seeks, he finds, and one who denies remains deprived.
Yeah. It puts the responsibility squarely on us, doesn't it? Seek, inquire, engage, or miss out.
It really encapsulates that whole theme. Active seeking is the key to unlocking understanding, to realizing that potential we talked about.
So, okay, let's try and pull these threads together. We started with this idea of delegated creative power.
This potential given to us.
Then the duality, how we can use it for good or ill. Radio waves or bombs.
Right. Then the concept of quantities being fundamental to life, health, even intelligence.
And underpinning all of that, the idea of these formulae, these underlying blueprints or recipes for existence.
Formulae that we can potentially learn and activate.
Which led to that mind-expanding idea about understanding even things like angels or the heavens.
But tempered by that call for active inquiry, for thinking, for seeking, because that's the path to finding.
It really suggests that digging into these formulae, whatever they are, could open up a much deeper understanding of, well, everything.
Ourselves, the universe, maybe even things beyond our current grasp. It's a powerful case for curiosity and intellectual effort, really, and a recognition of the incredible creative capacity we hold.
So, thinking about all that, here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. If we have this creative power, this delegated ability, and if there's this strong call to think and inquire, what kinds of formula, maybe just think of them as patterns, habits, ways of approaching things, what formula might you be activating in your own life without even realizing it?
Interesting question.
And what might happen? What possibilities could open up if you consciously decided to use your thinking abilities, as the text says, to explore the world and yourself more deeply?
Yeah, what could you discover? What could you create?
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.